I believe in the freedom of speech, and I'm very open to listening to other people's opinions. In fact, the way you educate yourself the most is to talk to individuals that disagree with you. Not only will you learn something from what they have to say, but you yourself will also have to research their claims. And if you find claims that refute that, then you educate your mind more. But for me, it's all about how you approach it. Most things in life are about how you approach it. If you go into work, you're negative, you're feeling like shit, and you got to do a job, the day's going to drag on, you keep looking at the clock. It's your attitude, right? But you go into that job, you're realistic about it, you say, I'm just going to do my job, not look at the clock and go the fuck home. You're still doing the same actions, but the difference is how you approach those two situations. And that is my same idea with everything. If you disagree with me, that's fine. In fact, I like when people disagree with me and they are willing to tell me so. But the way you approach it is a lot different. If you talk over me, if you personally insult me, if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, I'm going to call you out on it. Now, let me preface one more thing, and then I will get into the bigger picture of what provoked me into making this video, what motivated me into creating this dialogue. There was an individual who I met at a bar. I was relaxing, enjoying life. Couple drinks later, this woman approached me. She was from Canada, but she was visiting the United States. We chatted for a few minutes, and take it, this girl approached me. I didn't come to her or nothing. I was sitting there, I was watching sports, I was looking at my phone, I was looking at my stocks, I was minding my own business. This broad comes up to me, and she starts talking to me. She asks me what state I'm from, and I say, I'm from Tennessee. But I'm visiting this particular state. I won't get into the details of it all, the mundane details. And she's like, oh yeah, I fucking hate Tennessee. And I said, oh really? And I laughed. I said, you ever been to Tennessee? And she said, no. I said, interesting. How can you hate a place you've never been to? And she said, well, they voted for Donald Trump. And I said, okay. I said, that's fine. And she's like, I fucking hate Donald Trump. I said, okay, fine. You know, I was just wanted to leave me the fuck alone, more or less. And then she asked me, she said, did you know he's trying to buy Canada? I said, really? And I said, let me see if that claim's true. And I looked on my phone. I said, I looked at Google. Google does not like Donald Trump. And I asked Google Assistant, is Donald Trump trying to buy Canada? And they said, no, Greenland. And it was just a joke. And I said, well, it looks like you're wrong. But that's fine. And I said, anyway, what do you think about this game? And then she would not stop talking about Donald Trump. And I said, okay, look, can you name a policy that he's implemented that affects your life? And this woman did not even know one policy. Did not even know what the fuck she was talking about. Yet she wants to lecture me on how I should think, on how I should vote. But you can't name one policy. And she asked me, she said, what do you think? I said, well, what I do know is when you would go to get a business license previously in the United States, typically, a long time ago, you'd have to fill out all this paperwork. But now, it's just a couple pages. And I said, also, when you had a business, even if it was at your home or a private corporation, you had all these insane regulations. And those were called the Obama Midnight Regulations. But basically, these regulations had more pages than the entire Bible. And if you were caught violating one of them, they could shut your business down. She's like, I said, see, you don't know anything. You want to fucking lecture me, and you don't know what you're talking about. I said, I don't care that you don't like Donald Trump. That's fine. I have no issue with that. A lot of my friends don't. But we still talk. We still laugh. We still hug. We still have fun. But they don't come after me, and they know what the fuck they're talking about. You don't know what it's like running a small business here. I said, I don't give a fuck who your leader is, because it doesn't affect my life. And I said, I don't watch the news all the time either. It's funny. You're more into this shit than me, yet you don't know anything. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then some other dude white knight mangina felt the need to come up to her. And this dude was from the UK. And he said, fuck Donald Trump. And I said, what do you feel the need to lecture me? And I said, by the way, if we care what the British thought, we wouldn't have kicked your ass in 1776. And he said, your country has a lot to be really ashamed of. I said, really? Okay. That's fine. Every country does. Did you know the British enslaved 90% of the globe? Not enslaved, but they've invaded 90% of the globe. They invaded everybody. Shit, they invaded us in 1812. Did you know that the British took over India and enslaved the population? Did you know they protected a tea company called the East India Tea Company that would go to China and got them addicted to opioids? Did you know that shit? And then he got angry and I said, dude, I'm surprised you're even a man. You got that bitch energy. And what I mean by this is I'm just going to be straight. I hate the MGTOW virgins who are like, all women suck, all women are bad. But I hate also the fucking simps and manginas that are like, oh, women are powerful, women are good. Just be realistic. There are things women can do well, and there are things they can't do well. One of the things is a lot of women tend to be highly emotional in their opinions and less factual, which is fine. They have their right. But I said, you got that bitch energy, bro. I said, you remind me of my little cousin. What she does is, she says something that is completely untrue. If you prove her wrong, and I don't mean she's not very little, she's like 18, but if you prove her wrong and you use facts, then she gets really angry and wants to shut you down. She says, shut up. And I said, you're acting exactly like my cousin. I said, you two want to lecture me. I'm just here enjoying my beer, watching the game, looking at my stocks, trying to figure out what the fuck's going on in my life, and you want to come up to me and lecture me, and you don't even fucking live here. It's like, I don't get these people, and the one thing you do tell me that you know about them is false, but you watch the news all the time. I don't. The only thing I watch is the stock market news, Mad Money. I don't keep up with what's going on, every little tweet, every little thing like that. I don't keep up with that shit. So it's just like, people are highly emotional. They feel the need to lecture you about their opinions, and it's like, we don't fucking care. You don't live here, motherfucker. You don't fucking live here. Shut the fuck up. And the guy ended up leaving me alone, but I was just like, dude, I can't believe you're just feeling the need to defend this girl. These white knights, they feel like it is their job to go out of the way to defend a woman. They don't know who's right, who's wrong, what's going on, what the situation is. That's called situational awareness. Before you get involved in a situation, assess the situation. If it is not violent, if it is an interaction between two individuals that does not involve you, stay the fuck away. If I see two individuals arguing and it's not violent, I ignore it. But if it becomes violent and one person is getting beat into a pulp, you got to figure, is it worth me getting possibly beat into a pulp in order to make this situation better? But this dude, of course, he's like a woman. He's like a female. He's just all emotional. And it makes sense. I mean, if you look at the hormones that they're putting in cows, for instance, since factory farming, the Rockefeller Foundation took over agriculture. But if you look at what the cows are eating, they're putting in steroids. And these steroids lower the level of testosterone. There's a Harvard study that showed that women's who were vegetarian sons had 30% more testosterone. So it makes sense. I mean, in the West, testosterone levels are depleting. And that's why you see these highly emotional men that act like women. Men are supposed to be the voice of reason. You know, when your wife comes home all emotional and shit, or she's all mad, you're supposed to be the voice of reason. You're supposed to listen to her bullshit if you're with her, if you're dating her. If you're not dating her, who gives a fuck what she has to say when she's venting? But if you're dating her, she comes home, she's angry, she's mad, she's all bitchy, you're supposed to be the voice of reason. You let her vent, and then you say, okay, let's dissect the situation. Let's look at each component individually. And then eventually, when she calms down, you talk some sense into her, situation improves. But when you have people that are highly emotional, they don't know any facts, they're going to yell at you about your opinions when they don't know anything, it is very dangerous for dialogue. And the way I approach it is, there are things I know a lot about. I know a lot about history. I know enough about politics to get away with a discussion. But I'm no expert. I know a lot about science. I know a lot about dieting, the human body, human consciousness. science, mathematics, stuff like that. So if somebody asks me a question about science, I will try to answer it. Like, do you believe in global warming? Well, I will try to answer it in an intelligent, coherent way. But if somebody asks me, what do you think about Brexit? I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't live in the UK. I've never read a book about Brexit. I don't know anything about it. Explain it to me what you think about it. See, that's the way to go about it. If you don't know about something, just say, hey, I don't have an opinion on it because I don't know. If I'm at work and somebody asks me something that I know nothing about, I say, that shit's above my pay grade. And if I'm at home and somebody asks me something about something that I don't know, instead of trying to bullshit and act like I do know to seem intellectual, and if I did that, then I would have a totally incoherent, babbling, bitch energy opinion. But instead I say, I don't know, educate me. Or I say, if you really want to know my opinion, you got to give me some time to do some research on this thing. And I can look at the scientific papers, the historical, archaeological evidence, what the historians documented at the time. I don't fucking know, bro. You got to give me some time, man. And that's just what it is. But you got all these highly emotional dudes walking around with these low T levels. Feel the need. They still have that male instinct to defend a woman, to defend a young child, to defend an animal. You still got that instinct. You know, men were the warriors. Men were the protectors of civilization. Dude still got that instinct. But instead of approaching it from a situational awareness standpoint, from a logical standpoint, they are just going to run up to you with highly